This is Not Worth Living, a podcast that features creatives interviewing themselves with a preset list of questions. Unlike other podcasts that feel like conversation between friends, this one aims to feel like eavesdropping on a psychiatrist's visit. Today's episode features...
Hey, this is Jillian Luft, author of Scumbag Summer. I am on the Not Worth Living podcast. Thank you, Ira. So without further ado, let's get into it. First question, what makes you tick? Red Bull, first and foremost, glam metal, neon signs, Fassbinder films, Larry Brown books, nostalgia, morning cigarettes, astrology, new shoes, hopeless yearning, intense self-reflection, and wild desire. Next question, would you open an envelope with your death date? I'd definitely unseal it and I'd thumb the contents inside without looking. I'd then use my keen intuition, which psychics keep telling me I have, so I suppose they're right, to guess the date, and then I'd resist the urge to confirm that hunch. I love to torture myself. Then I'd burn said envelope and fully surrender to the mortal fates before treating myself to Applebee's or Taco Bell. And then I'd wrap up the night by drinking whiskey while dancing to today's greatest pop hits, remembering what it means to truly live. What was the first time you remember creating something intentionally? So this was easy to answer. When I was 5, I remember writing and illustrating my first short story. My favorite meal at the time was beef stroganoff, and so I wrote a story about a bear and a bunny becoming fast pals because they shared their love of this Ukrainian dish from the gods. They ate it together under a tree. I think it was a simple but effective story. Next question, what keeps you motivated? Easy, death. Who inspires you at the moment? So I recently rewatched the Netflix docuseries Wrestlers, which I highly recommend to anyone and not just people that are interested in wrestling. And if you're not interested in wrestling, I don't know, maybe you don't have a soul. But I was incredibly inspired by Al Snow. He's a former WWE wrestler and owner of OVW, which is Ohio Valley Wrestling, so a smaller wrestling organization. And he's just the perfect blend of a thoughtful curmudgeon and a secret softie. He has integrity, he is quick-witted, and he has a big heart. He puts art before commerce, he's humble, and he only cracks a smile when necessary. I love that. He's wholly human and yet superhuman somehow. Al Snow, write a book. But wait, you know what? He already has, so I'm buying it right now. Apparently a self-help book. I'm going to check it out. Next question, what's your latest project? My debut novel, Scumbag Summer, is coming out June 20th on House of Vlad Press. I'm also working on a memoir right now about caretaking for my terminally ill mom as a child. So it's going to be pretty horrific. And a collection of essays about my unabashed fascination with the hyper-masculine in pop culture. If money was no object, what would be your dream project? So I've had so many of these, and, they're usually just fleeting ideas that, dissolve into the ether. But I've always wanted to write a Macho Man Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth biopic. Also thought about a Night Stalker miniseries, very 80s. And then I have this idea of traveling the U.S. and frequenting every Applebee's in the U.S., interviewing the regulars, assessing the particular ambiance of each one, and then compiling all these astute observations into a travelogue, one that captures the real America and hopefully heals the painful division we're all experiencing over the past decade. Very ambitious, but at least I would get to go to Applebee's. Is there a quote or a motto that you work by? Yes. I'm right on top of that, Rose. From seminal masterwork, Don't Tell Mom, The Babysitter's Dead. And also the entirety of Kenny Loggins' Nobody's Fool theme song from seminal masterwork, Caddyshack 2. Would you be friends with yourself? Absolutely. Duh. I'm kind, I'm patient, I listen, I empathize, I have the best restaurant and travel recommendations, the best gift ideas, I plan a killer road trip with Boehner playlists. In some ways, I would say I already am friends with me. I definitely talk major shit behind my back. What do you do differently from other people? I hold my pencil and fork like no one I know. I can't really describe it, but it's like this awkward grip. And it's because I'm left-handed and I refuse to learn how to do it properly like right-handers do. I do a lot of things in ways that others perceive as challenging because it just makes sense to me, and I'd rather do things intuitively than learn a way that doesn't innately feel right. So I rarely use shortcuts on the computer. I use simple machines in an ass-backwards manner that people are always commenting on. If the result is the same and I'm being true to my nature, what's the issue? What I've learned is that even the most banal differences in behavior or approach freaks other people out, and I love to freak other people out, so I will never adapt or change. And then finally, what would you like your epitaph to say? Raised on leather with flesh on her mind from NXS's seminal masterwork, Devil Inside. Thank you.